When I left Christianity and fundamentalist churches, I realized that fundamentalism teaches its members that men make the rules and women submit. If you've ever been to certain Baptist churches or really sexist churches, you'll notice that they always focus on how men are great leaders, that masculinity is tied up with leadership. The safest men I've ever been around, they don't want to be leaders. They want to be decent people. They reject the patriarchy. They refuse to be anything but a kind human being. They protect women, not because they're a man and she's a woman, but because he views her as an equal, worthy of protection. The same as a woman who saves a man. She sees him equal and of value. Not from what comes out of him or what comes out of her, but because they are human beings. I refuse to associate or eat with anybody or marry anybody that views women as inferior. It's 2026. The amount of contempt men have for women in fundamentalist churches is ridiculous. Men do not get to make the rules simply because they're men. People make rules to protect innocent people who may not be able to stick up for themselves or to govern themselves due to some ignorance, poverty, their background, access, transportation. People protect each other when they know that they're vulnerable. And they don't intentionally make those people vulnerable. They make sure that the next generation is more educated, has more money, has more opportunities and access than the last generation. That is what decent people who serve, not govern, serve, live. That is why any president that is worthy of respect says that he serves the people, not that I am the president. Kind of is very similar to King Joffrey, I'm the king. You're not anything unless somebody elects you. I don't care who you are. You don't get a free pass because you have a bright future. Get it together. Women don't have to consent or submit to anybody. That is a personal choice. If you have a submission kink, regardless of who has that kink, fine. Find someone who's of age and wants to do it. But expecting everyone who doesn't have that kink to submit because of your gender and genitalia given to you by birth is utter ridiculousness. Men don't get to be in charge just because you're more likely to kill me than any other group. The next time a religious person says, well, I have divine authority, I'll say, well, why don't you go fuck yourself with it? Based on how happy they make their wives, I don't think they're going to do a good job. Yeah, the most unhappy people I've ever met are married, Christian, white, heterosexual, cis women. Man, privileged men of opportunity, created God, all gods, to get away with and justify being in charge, making the rules as male beneficial as possible. There's no God. There is no justice unless we, the voters, in whatever environment you're in, make it possible. The only reason why we save lives and protest is so that the next generation has the rights, freedom, and opportunity to keep protesting. The generation of 2026 would not have the right to protest if the civil rights movement, the LGBTQIA protests hadn't happened, women's suffrage, if people had not continuously protested against the patriarchy, we would not have the right to do anything. Women do not have to submit or consent to anything. They don't. And men don't have to consent or be okay with anything. You choose where you live. You choose what church you go to. That is what adults do. Anything less, and that's a scary way to live. I don't listen to people because they're male. I listen to people because they might be saying something that I can learn. Or when I listen to them, I can learn what not to be. It's one or the other. I have heard some of the worst ideology, narcissistic, just downright dehumanizing language from privileged white men in authority in church. If they open their minds half as often as they open their mouths, women in all religions would be in a better place.